It's a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! He's away! Villa in the lead!
Hello, good afternoon, Aston Villa, and welcome to the podcast. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, X and Instagram. Please subscribe. Do what you can to get me closer to 2K. Make sure to smash the likes on this video. And you can follow me on all socials. On today's episode, I'm joined by a Monday show regular, Aaron Thornton, who's host of the Football Brief, and is my co-host. This is the weekly recap, your weekly dose of Aston Villa news and headlines. Aston Villa are fighting on two fronts. The priority for Emery and Aston Villa will be finishing in the top four and winning the Europa League. But on Saturday evening, in the FA Cup fourth round, Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 3, Aston Villa are out of the FA Cup. And the FA Cup wait for Aston Villa goes on. But in the season now, we have bigger fish to fry. And we need to pick ourselves up again. Please join the show, Aaron. As always, how are you?
Yeah, mate, thank you for having me on. Very well said as well regarding all things Villa. I'm good, mate. I'm probably doing slightly better than you because I actually missed the game because I was out for Valentine's, and I know you were actually there. So I'm probably doing a bit better. I'm sort of trying to focus now more on the league and Europa League. So not too bad. How are you feeling? Have you cooled down now? I saw your rant.
Oh, you had a big rant on Saturday evening. It's actually raw emotion, just straight from the game. And it tore me out. I'm really tired. But I'm absolutely fuming, to be honest, Aaron. I feel angry. I mean, it's not even because we lost. For me, it's the manner of the defeat. I mean, completely capitulated. We sort of just bottled it, I thought.
Yeah, Aston Villa and 10 men just don't go, do they? Whether it's 10 men for the opposition or we've got 10 men, we just cannot deal. I've seen a couple of things, Chad, that said the first half we were actually playing okay, and then it was a sending off.
We scored good in the first half.
So was it bizarre? Was it that sending off that sort of just changed the whole complexion of the game?
Yeah, it sort of changed the dynamics of the game. I think with Bizot, though, I don't know what he was thinking. But he got way out of it off his line. I just think he saw red. He got a red card, and after that point, the head sort of dropped, I think, then.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, I understand wanting to, trying to help the team and do anything you possibly can to prevent a goal, but surely having 11 men on the pitch would be, and maybe conceding a goal would be probably better than just getting sent off. At least with a goal down, we can maybe try and come back, and we've got 11 men, we have more of a chance. But yeah, it was. I saw the highlight, and it was just bizarre, mate.
Crazy, yeah. I think in Newcastle, though, they wanted it more. You can just tell. And in the game, and also in the FA Cup. Look, I don't think we're ever going to win that competition, are we? We just can't see us winning it.
It's frustrating because, look, whilst you rightly said then we have bigger fish to fry, but every season sort of comes along and you think, okay, let's try and go far in the FA Cup. Let's try and we really want to win a trophy, for the fans, for the club, for to really consolidate Unai Emery's era. That trophy is so important, and yet another chance slips away, and it was a home tie as well. That's what really frustrates me, Chad, is the fact that we were at home and against a fairly depleted Newcastle. I mean, they had a good squad, obviously, but I mean, without Guimaraes, Alysson didn't play, I don't believe, and it's a fairly good opportunity, and we just I don't want to use the word bottle, but we just flop yet again, and it's just annoying.
Yeah, it's like with me as well. Like, it's Tonali. I mean, two of the goals that he scored were very identical. And one you're not closing, you can't give. Playing on that much space, you can't.
They were both outside the box, weren't they? Shots, pretty much.
Yeah, but outside the box, yeah.
Yeah, and another thing with that as well, like Tonali, I believe hadn't scored up until that point this season. But being Aston Villa, it's like, there you go, mate. Have a shot. Have a goal. Have 2 goals actually. Really kickstart your season. Yeah.
Well, the best thing about the game was the light show before kickoff.
Really?
Yeah. Because the retro thing they were doing.
What was all that about, mate? This like 90s theme?
Yeah, I think it was 96, I think. Yes.
Right.
I think 30 years, and they were doing like a 90s retro theme or something, I think. All the shirts.
Yes. Yeah. Did you have a 90s shirt or anything 90s nostalgia?
Or but even the touchline reporter, he was even wearing a retro, but there were quite a few of them in the crowd and stuff.
Oh, wow. I mean, I did see some of the promo online from Villa social media, and look, being a '90s kid myself, it was quite cool seeing it. But maybe they should have focused more on the game than the '90s thing. It sounded like it seemed fun, but
we felt like it as well at the stadium. It was at St James's Park.
Really.
Yeah, obviously the noise, even before kick-off, you can sort of sense something like as if the Newcastle fans were expecting something.
I think as well they were pretty. I think they were still angry and annoyed from the previous game at the St James's
Revenge.
Park.
They got their revenge.
Yeah, they were hungry for something, weren't they? And what was the atmosphere like, Chad? I know FA Cup games can be a bit funny sometimes because obviously some people come, some people don't. The allocation, a lot of families go. Was it good? Was it bad?
The atmosphere. It was like a full crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, all fans with full voices. So I thought the atmosphere was really good, I thought.
Okay.
But obviously when we lose, it changed. But I mean, you're going to credit them. I mean, like Newcastle, they're with a better team. There's just no complaints.
Yeah, it seemed that way. And, it again, another loss at home. And I don't want to sound negative, but I think because our home form has been so good over the last sort of year, this recent, 3 home losses in 4 now?
We can't get back in regular habits.
Yeah, you don't want that sort of form to creep into the league again. We want to really make home our sort of fortress again. So that's could potentially be a worrying sign. But annoying. I heard that the refereeing wasn't great, mate.
It wasn't like the best, I don't think. I think it's got one-sided, the referee. But yeah, I know what was going on. It was quite strange. I wasn't really a massive fan of the referee, to be honest.
Well, I heard that because there wasn't any VAR, was there?
No, obviously, because it's going to get the FA Cup 4th round, I think.
So,
there's no VAR.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk online that, it was sort of evident that the officials nowadays are heavily reliant on VAR, sort of like Big Brother looking over their shoulder. And now that when he wasn't there, the decisions weren't that great because they didn't have VAR to fall back on. And so that, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, VAR or not, we lost fairly
Well, the
convincingly.
big thing for me, Aaron, is that in that first half, we should have killed the game off. Look, if we went 2-0 up, it might be a different game. We had loads of chances in the first half, but we didn't take them. So then we got punished like around the game.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't take those chances. A team like Newcastle, any Premier League team,
Oh, yeah.
have the potential to punish you, don't they? And
Yeah.
it's annoying, Chad. It really is annoying. But we've got to try and
Oh, yeah.
focus on some of the positives. And Tammy
Well, I've got
Abraham.
one positive, Aaron. Yes,
Go on.
yeah. Like you said, Tommy Abraham, yeah.
Yeah,
Because he and Tommy Abraham, he works really hard. And also, he needs to start the next game as well. And Watkins, he just ain't doing it for me, Watkins, at the moment. I'm
Did
not
what-
seeing another on Watkins.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he come off the bench.
Oh, okay.
But even when he came off the bench, he didn't do anything.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Watkins, mate. I genuinely don't know if it's just a really, really horrible spell that
Yeah.
he's going through. Footballers can go
Yeah.
through it. It's not common that he's just struggling. If it's genuinely this injury that's been hampering him,
Yeah.
it's a confidence thing.
Confidence.
He looks like he's lost a yard of pace as well a bit. I feel like.
Yeah,
He
I
doesn't
think that.
seem
Yeah.
as like agile as he usually is. When you factor that in, mate, like we've essentially had almost a full season or 2/3 of a season without a striker that's firing, and to still be third in the league and to be doing well in the Europa League is testament to the squad. But imagine if he was firing, it would make
Imagine.
it.
To me, he's not working hard enough, I think. Like,
Really?
I mean, what worries me though, like, he's not like scoring now. He's gone down. And also, when he gets the chance, he's got no composure. He needs to show more composure.
Yeah, he doesn't. I agree with the composure and the sharpness. Like he doesn't. There's times where usually he would hit it first time, and he's sort of like hesitating on the ball a bit too much. And I don't know. I don't knock his work rate as such. I do think he works hard. I don't know if it's a system sometimes.
He's good more than I saw at the last game, I think. I could be wrong, but.
No, mate, it's an opinion. It's a good. You see more than you go to the games and see these things. So I take your word, but I just think sometimes there's some games that are suited to him better than others. But I do agree with you. I think Tammy starts against Leeds. I think he has to
start.
Yeah, I think now he's got his goal as well. He's going to be up for it back at home, and I agree with you.
The Rodgers will maybe take me over. You must think Watkins now will be fighting for his place. So maybe in the next few weeks, maybe you got some good competition. So maybe Watkins, hopefully, you might step it up.
Hopefully, I mean, in the past that's worked with John Duran and Rashford, Danny Ings at one point. There was that competition, and Ollie Watkins has always seemed to come out on top. Rashford was a bit different because he got injured in the end, but so I think Rashford would have continued to start. But yeah, I don't know if Watkins actually is going to welcome the rest. If he has been injured all season, then he might actually be thankful that we've got Abraham. So we'll see. But it's not a bad option to have. Having two. On their day, they're both very lethal strikers. So hopefully, Ollie can rediscover a bit of form in the last.
I don't tell me Abraham, he scored. He took his goal really well, but I know Eddie Howe wasn't happy. I thought that was a yard offside, they said it though.
It's funny you say that, Chad, because when I saw the highlights, my initial thought was, oh, he looked a bit offside. Then I was like, well, actually, he can't have been because VAR would have checked it. And then I found out that obviously I remembered that VAR wasn't on. So yeah, I don't know, but like you say, he took it well either way.
Don't turn me Abraham. It's nice to see that. But that chance back at the park again.
Oh yeah. The chant and did he when he scored? Did he? Could you tell it meant a lot to him? You know, being back
Oh
his first.
yeah, it was a big celebration. It was.
That's nice, and that'll do in the world a good confidence-wise, won't it?
The one thing touches on, I was going to say about the Newcastle player, is the Harvey Barnes. He caused Bogard a lot of problems. You think we really missed Matty Cash in that game, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bogard has done a good job for us when he has come in. I know he's had to play in multiple
The
positions.
Barnes is a good player, that's why he's a top player, yeah.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes is a top player. I agree with you. And then also, he always seems to cause us problems. Like if he doesn't score against us, he's always just a bit of a nuisance, isn't he, Harvey Barnes? He's a player I'd love at the Villa as a winger. I think he'd be great. Obviously,
he's going to do his pace.
Yeah, no, I like him a lot. So do you think Bogard struggle a bit?
He also struggles. Doesn't think he ain't got the pace, maybe that's pretty why.
Yeah, hopefully Cash is back for Leeds. I think that was the plan for him. So hopefully that he has a good week and he's back for the Leeds game because he'd be a massive.
The thing is, well, we've got bigger fish to fry. Yes, at least now we can focus. We have to win the Europa League now.
Yeah,
we're only going to get Champions League. Financially, we need to finish the Champions League again.
Yeah, agreed. That's the only thing. That's the only annoying thing about dropping out of the FA Cup is like there's a bit more pressure now. The FA Cup was another chance of silverware. So if the Europa League didn't come off, it's like, well, the FA Cup could be another avenue for a trophy, but we don't have that now. So it's almost like, right, well, we need to win the Europa League. And so there's that added pressure now. So the players have got to really step up.
Yeah, they're going to predict two lineups on the screen.
Yeah.
For me, you didn't predict two lineups. So yeah, they're going to get obviously Martinez. We've got no other goalkeeper now.
I guess there's no. So hopefully Martinez doesn't get injured this week. Otherwise, we're going to be screwed.
Is that Proctor? Is it? Is he the youth? Is he one of the young keepers? That's what we got.
Yeah. We've got. Yeah, I think. Proctor. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. We have a couple of youth keepers, but I mean, we really want Martinez.
It'd be a disaster. It would be a disaster if they don't play.
Yeah, Leeds will be shooting on sight otherwise. So.
I don't see if fit. Matty Cash will play.
Agreed.
Because of the reasons that I mentioned previously.
Yeah.
And also Matty Cash. To me, he's playing hard. He works hard, Matty Cash.
He does, yeah.
And he's also very experienced. It's on him, right? Back up the Villa.
He's arguably, Chad, been one of our best and consistent players. Like he's up for, I think he's been one of our best players of the season so far. Like he could easily be in line for player of the season if he finishes the season as he's been all season. He could easily be player of the season for me. Like I have no issue with saying that.
He's consistent, Mr. Consistent.
Yeah, he's gone up 20 levels. I'm really pleased for him and proud of him, and so I agree.
Yeah. Also, another Tyrone Mings. I really think, I know what you think, but I think we really miss leadership in the team.
With no.
Also, without McGinn, without no McGinn. And also, Mings, he played really well against Brighton. It seems to be. When Tyrone Mings plays, we keep a clean sheet.
I totally agree, mate. And I also think Leeds, they're quite a physical presence up front with Calvert-Lewin and that. Is it Oakenfour, or they've got a couple new players who seem quite big and powerful. So I think Mings will be needed against them. So for the physical battle, 100% agree with you, mate.
Also, we've got Onana and Douglas Luiz. I think Douglas Luiz is playing really well. I know, those two, they're important to the team. And Douglas Luiz, for me, He always does the basics really well.
Yeah, yeah, well said. Yeah, I agree. I think as well, like the more they play together, um, the better they'll become as a duo. I think it takes time to gel, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
you know, it's although Douglas Luiz knows the system and knows Unai, he doesn't know Onana. So for those two to play together consistently over the
Yes.
last 4 or 5 games is going to be good for them going forward. Before the heavy hitters come back in McGinn and Tielemans.
And we said about Leeds, like, oh, Nana, he's like solid in that midfield. Like, he has that steal in the midfield, that protection, and he can even drive forward, Onana. He's done it quite a few times.
100% Chad. Yeah, he's got those long legs, hasn't he? Those strides when he gets going and goes up the
Yes.
gears. He can make yards at that pitch. So yeah, he's going to be essential because like anytime we play Leeds, it's always a battle. It's always a battle. They're going to be banged up for it because I think at the minute, mate, teams are looking at Villa and thinking their home form is a bit shaky. We fancy ourselves here, so they're going to come at us. So Onana's going to be needed.
And then, but like, Buendia in the number 10 role, also Buendia last time, he scored to get to Leeds, didn't
He did,
he?
yeah.
That's it, yeah, that's it. It's him, wasn't it? Yeah. He scored all the goals, so I did. And also, I
Oh no,
always
was it
like Buendia.
I think Rogers got 2 goals.
Two. Oh, yeah, another game, I'm thinking another game, I think, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Rogers
Not,
got one.
not, I think he played one, I think.
Yeah, he did play well. Yeah, Buendia did
He
play
played
well. I think
one, I
Rogers
think.
got a free kick and he got like
That's it, too.
a near post flick. I think maybe, but
So, I think his Buendia, his pressing would be important.
yeah, agreed.
Maybe like as well. He works always working hard. It's just he never gives up when there.
He doesn't, and look, he's been fairly good the majority of the season. Yes, there's been games where he's not been as active or been as involved as others, but you know what you're going to get with him, and we don't have much else really that I'd want to put in front of him. There is Barkley, arguably.
There's nobody else really, is there? Yeah, not really.
Can Barkley last that long? With his injuries at the minute, I think it's wise to keep Barkley. And Barkley started against Newcastle, didn't he? He started the game, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he did.
I think Wendy is a very good shout, mate, and he'll be keen to try and rediscover his sort of early season form as well. So yeah,
Then of course, then like Sancho Rogers.
yeah,
That's
agreed.
the best choice you can go for. I think Tommy Abraham, he deserves a start.
Yeah,
He scored in the last game. I think he's at his place in the team.
yeah,
And he's been in form. He's the better player at the moment.
totally agree. I think we've gone for the exact same team, and for the reasons that you just said regarding Tammy Abraham. That goal on the weekend will give him confidence. I think give Ollie a bit of a break. If Tammy can get a goal, maybe 2, Ollie can come on at the end as well, just to give Leeds a bit more of a headache. Like
Yes.
I think that will work well in this game. And Ollie, like you said earlier, we both are very big Ollie Watkins fans, but I think he needs a bit of a break.
Could have even got his shirt.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, it's we support anyone who puts on that bit of top. Yes, players can have bad games and bad performances, and we'll acknowledge that, and that's fair enough. So there's no harm in calling it out. But with Ollie Watkins, I do think this season that he struggled a lot. And
He knows what Ollie Watkins. He knows he can do a lot better, Watkins.
Yeah, exactly. For his standards, he knows he's not been good enough, and he'll be the first one to say that as well, mate. You're spot on there, Chad. So yeah, give Tammy Abraham the start.
Yeah. Actually, I'll show it to everyone. That's the first time we've gone with the same team, Aaron. So,
Wow, mate,
we got the exact same team. And first time it's happened, I think.
We've been doing this. I've been doing this with you now for what, like almost a year, over a year now.
Something like that, yeah.
Was it this season you started it? I don't know. I can't remember if it was last season now. But
Yeah.
wow, first time. That's cool.
But Aaron, if you could make any changes, what would you do, or would you just leave it like that? The point is nothing else you can do because what it is, you got to pick your youngest team there.
Yeah, exactly, mate. The only one I was toying with was instead of Buendia having Ross Barkley,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
that's
between Barkley, Onana, and Louise, or between Barkley and
yeah.
Louise, maybe there could be a bit of rotation between the three, so it's a bit more fluid. But I just, I love when Barkley comes on in games and sort of just can calm the game down and can set the tempo a bit. And I just think, Buendia, if there's free kicks to be had or if there's sort of space that opens up, I think he's good in those positions. So that was the only one I potentially thought about changing.
Come on, Ross Barkley, I like his passing range.
Yeah.
He's got excellent passing range. And I like the way he slows down the game, I do. To see a pass.
Yeah, he's very good at controlling that tempo because he's an intelligent player, Ross Barkley. So if the game's going 100 miles an hour, he can sort of jump in and play at that pace, or he can come on and sort of try and slow it down. And yeah, I think in a game against Leeds, depending on how it's looking towards the end of the match, the last sort of 20 minutes, I think he could be important to come on in around that period. So yeah,
And he's doing it, sometimes. He looks the license to go forward.
yeah, he does, doesn't he? He's got that eye for goal, hasn't he? I've seen that, and that's why he wouldn't be a bad shout in that number 10 position because he can play that role if if we need him to. But no, I think the team sort of sells itself. The back four I'm fine with for reasons that we spoke about, and then obviously Tammy up front. Did Sancho play at all on the weekend, mate?
I'm sure that he did.
Did he
Just thinking
start?
of team option. I'm trying to think, actually, that. I'm sure it was Leon Bailey, actually.
I think Bailey started. Yeah, I wasn't sure if Sancho came
You know
on.
what? I think Bailey started.
Yeah.
Some of the team, but I know that Bailey definitely obviously he actually. Leon Bailey didn't do too bad. I mean, he did lose the ball a few times. But you're trying to get back to player that you was before.
Yeah, I mean, look, with Leon Bailey, you can't knock his attitude. I don't think he's bad. I think he's got a fairly good attitude. I think he tries. Are we going to see the levels that he hit that wonder season?
23, 24.
Yeah, I mean, he was unplayable that season, and I don't know whether we've sort of been wishing for it ever since, haven't we, as fans? And I just don't know if he's got those levels within him. Hopefully, if he can rediscover it, amazing. But I don't know. He just, again, a bit like Ollie Watkins, he just doesn't seem as sharp as he was. Whether that's an age thing. I mean, I know they're not old by any means, but I mean, in terms of in football years, is it like an age thing? Is it a confidence thing? I don't know, but I would love him to come back to the levels that he was that season, mate.
We can get another interesting stuff on the screen.
Yeah.
And this is doing penalties. So, we're the first team this season. So, we haven't been awarded a single penalty or something.
Whoa.
Which we actually didn't realise. It's not or something. I didn't see it the other day. It's not a decision, but also. So, Aaron, what is the reason we are not winning penalties?
I mean, the obvious thing, well, the standout reason would appear that we're not in the box enough. Because obviously you've got to be fouled in the box to get a penalty, or there needs to be a handball or whatever. But I don't know whether it's to do with the way Unai plays, sort of playing down, sort of
narrow. So we sort of always play narrow.
Yeah, and not really getting into the box or playing. We sort of play around the box, don't we? Not really in the box. There's that. There's also an element of just being a bit unlucky that's that's just how it is. We just haven't been in those positions, and the refs haven't given anything. So there's an element of unluckiness there as well. What are your thoughts, mate?
I think we need to spread away more width. We're going to create more width for the likes of Tommy Abraham Watkins. I don't think we get some more crosses in the box, which, like I said before, and the likes of Tommy Abraham, with his physical presence, like a nuisance.
Yeah, exactly. We've got between Tammy, Onana, Mings. Lindelof isn't tiny. We've got like some tall players there that we could sort of use. With crosses. I don't know why we don't cross more. Like, you look at the Newcastle game at St James's Park the other week, and Luca Dean put that ball in for Watkins. Lovely header, cross, header, bang. Look, and I know you can't do that all the time, and I get that there's a patience with Unai and a tempo and a slow build up with his play. But sometimes, it's like, let's just hit the box. If we're struggling, let's just try and hit that box. So
another thing as well, I think it's decision making in the final third. So use the likes of Wendy and Rogers. They can use the through ball, play it through a bit more often.
Tielemans when he's fit as well,
that'll make a difference.
And that sort of thing. Maybe if we do get our first penalty decision, then we'll get like a flurry of them. Maybe they'll make it last time, and we'll get like a load of decisions going our way. But interesting question though, who takes penalties now? Because Louise is back, Tammy's back, who both have a good history of taking penalties for Villa. Who would you pick as a penalty taker if you could?
Well, what? I'll just say Douglas Louise.
Yeah.
I remember when he was at Villa last time, that he always steps up for the free kicks, penalties. I don't think Douglas Louise is quite reliable for the spots.
I agree. I think I wouldn't be. Yeah, I think I agree with you, Chad. I think I would have Douglas Louise, but I wouldn't be annoyed if it was Tammy. I think Tammy's got a good record. If I remember when we're in the Championship, I know Ollie Watkins struggles. So between those two, I wouldn't have any issues. So, but we've got to get a penalty first.
When John McGinn comes back,
do
you think he could take penalties?
I think John McGinn could. Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's a few players that could, and I think John McGinn, he's got that confidence about him, and he's the leader. He'd step up. So for sure, mate. Yeah, definitely, he could be another one. I would have no issue.
I want to see Aston Villa do. I want to see them play to look quicker, a little bit more sharper, even get near the box and get in the right areas. I think.
Yeah, that was my biggest gripe with the Brentford game a couple of weeks ago when they went down to 10 men, and again, we all know how Unai wants to play. We get it, right? We understand. A lot of this sort of passing and trying to bait the other teams in so we can then attack and exploit. But that Brentford game was a prime example of how we just don't put the ball in the box. we just
more often.
Which again, we understand, but there's times where you've got to just raise that level and just go a bit faster, or try and get those crosses in and just be a bit more clinical. And so I agree with you, mate. I think we need a bit more of that in games, just to keep teams guessing, really, so we're not that predictable.
What do you think? Maybe Tommy Abraham, he might start winning more penalties, certain penalties in the box. I remember when he was at Aston Villa last time, he used to win quite a lot of penalties. Like you said at the beginning, you're going to get in the box more often.
Yeah. Yeah, no, agreed. The only thing with that is that the championships are a completely different beast to the Prem. There's a lot more challenges that go flying in, whereas the Prem, there are a lot more defenders are a lot more measured, aren't they? So, yeah, look, now that hopefully we're going to speak it into existence and we're going to get our first penalty against Leeds, so just get ready to clip this, so then when we do get a penalty, you called it first, Chad.
Well, thank you to Avfc Stutter.
Yeah, man.
Always does interesting stats.
That's a very good stat, yeah.
So we're going to the next talking place. We're going to talk about the Brazilian youngster, Alysson.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you mind of Alysson? Since he signed to Villa, he played against Brighton the other night. What do you think of him?
I'm excited to see more, mate. I know we've not seen too much of him. He made a bit of a cameo appearance against Brighton, and I thought he looked, for the touches that he had and for the energy levels, I thought he looked good. Obviously, very raw, and has got to really fit into the system and get to understand Unai's way. But it's a bit of an unknown player, so that sort of excites me.
Yep.
A young, quick, sort of pacey, direct player. You can't go too wrong with that, mate. So I'm looking forward to see how he sort of does going forward. What did you make of him?
He made some great touches against Brighton.
Yeah.
And you have to give a lot of credit to Roberto Alaba, our sporting director. And who knows, I mean, with this like Alysson, could end up being the likes of a new Coutinho. Like he's got that Brazilian flair. He's got sort of like that skill set.
Yeah, no, yeah, he looked like he's got a trick or two that he could bring out if needed. And yeah, being Brazilian helps because we know that naturally these guys have a lot of natural flair, and yeah, I'm interested to see how he develops. That he must be thought highly of because a lot of these sort of younger players that we sign don't often get put into the first team straight away. We signed that striker, I think Madja. We signed him, and I think,
that's the one. Yeah,
he's in the squad, but he's not going to make a match day squad this season and maybe next season. So the fact that Alysson,
he played Newcastle. He wasn't even in the team sheet, I don't think.
Yeah, I read that him and. No, Elliot wasn't in, but yeah, Alysson had a bit of a knock in training. So I think Jacob Tanswell actually put a piece in the Athletic and just said that, or he tweeted. I don't know if it was a piece. I think he just tweeted about it. He just said that it's more of a precaution because he's so young and they don't want any long-term injuries. It was more of a precaution just to keep him out of his game, and then maybe see how he trains. I expect he'll probably be back in the squad for Leeds. I don't know if he'll feature much, but he'll be there. So
Alysson as well. He's got a different option on the right wing. We've got Elsie Sancho, Leon Bailey, and then we've got Alysson. So it gives us a different option on the right wing, I think, in the attack.
Yeah, he does, mate. And right wing, left wing, and I think one thing that Villa have been screaming out for, are wingers, and I think I was a big fan of Diaby. I think since Diaby we've not really had that.
Him. I don't think we replaced him. I don't think
Yeah, in terms of that pace as well, he was so fast. I think Alisson's got that about him. I think as well, I didn't realise that Alisson's already played a full season. So I think the Brazilian League, I think that's why there's been so much protection over him and taking their time with him because he's just done a full season in Brazil, I think. So, for him to then go again in the Premier League, which is a completely different beast, it's a big thing. So I think that's why as well there's been a level of caution with him and just, sort of taking time to bed him in. So, we'll see more and more of him. He'll get drip fed into the team, I think.
And also, Emery as well. Emery, you can always see a particular player. And a bit like John Duran, he can get Alysson to John Duran's level. He did it with Duran.
Duran, Rodgers, he's
Rodgers,
You know, when he spots these spots these sort of these youthful players, you know, he sort of just makes that point and goes to them straight away. So, yeah, I'm excited to see more of him, Chad. Haven't seen enough yet, obviously, but from what I read about him in different pieces or see, it seems that he's going to be a decent player, and I think he's impressed a few players in training and stuff. So, I think his idol, I was reading, his idol is Neymar. So, I mean,
that's amazing to live up to that, yeah.
If he can live up to just a little bit of that, then we'll be all right.
And what it is, what I like about him is he's got great awareness around him. He knows a lot about his surroundings. And he's thinking about the pass, but always the next pass.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a sign of a top player. You know, those players that know where they're going to put the ball before it comes into their feet. You know, that's a tough one to sort of learn. So if you're doing that already, then that's a good sign.
Who knows what's going to happen with this already? You know, they're going for a profit somewhere. But is he going to be a regular, or it could be the opposite? He's set him up for a big profit, which will help out, you know, like the PSR and not the SEO.
That's so true, Chad. Isn't it sad though that like that's how, you know, and mate, you make it's such a good point. Like you're spot on with that. Like that's the truth. That's the fact of the matter. But it's like it's sad, isn't it, that he's only played a few minutes and we're already thinking, oh, you know, in a couple of years' time you can generate a big profit. Like it's the way that we're having to work our minds now because of the financial state of things. Sad.
Yeah, have you read the Gideon Banner guidebook?
No, but I've got it. I'm still reading the.
It's a great read. I just finished it.
Are you reading it? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm still reading the other one, the one with the one that Greg did.
I'm going to listen to that next.
Waking the Giant, I think. Yeah.
Waking the Giants. Yeah, that's my next one.
I'm halfway through that, and then once I finish that one, then I'll do Gilliam's one. Yeah, so it's a good read.
It's really interesting. There's a lot of things in there about like Emery, and when you read it, it sort of tells you like the reason why the Emery's not going anywhere.
Okay, cool.
You know, like I said, like building a project. You know, how long he's built something really special. It's remarkable, really, a story in those 3 years.
Yeah, and I think, you know, he's not going. I know we say this all the time as Villa fans and people who know say the same thing, but he's not going to get the level of control that he has at Villa at most places. You know, I'm sure there'll be a couple of clubs that could do similar, but like overall, he's not going to get the same sort of control that he's got at Villa. So I think for him, you know, he knows where the land lies, and I think the big thing for Emery is that trophy. He wants that silverware. That's the big thing, isn't it? So yeah, okay. Well, mate, I'll give that a read next, and I'll let you know. But the one I'm reading, actually, to be fair, is very good as well. It's sort of goes back to the Championship days, and
I'm gonna have to get that one next. I'm gonna have to get that one next.
Yeah, it brings you through actually, and it's funny because I'd read not long ago, like there's a bit about Tammy Abraham and, you know, when he was there and stuff, and then obviously we re-signed him, so that was quite cool. Yeah, it's a good read as well.
Also, the Gideon Banner guidebook. Going back to what we said about financial restrictions.
Yeah,
it says a lot about what Emery's thoughts about what the restrictions and how frustrating it's been. It's said that you have to sell players in order to, like, you know, want to compete, you know, and comply with the rules.
Yeah, and that's why I really try and keep grounded when we do lose or we draw. We don't get the result we quite want, because I look at where we are on the table. We're third in the table, right? That's incredible. We're third in the league, and we're essentially using, or Emery's been using, the same squad of players that we've had for the last 5-6 years, and for him to get more and more out of these players is nothing short of miraculous.
And it protects the big six.
Oh yeah, the
so-called big six.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the way it's been set up, and if we want to be up and up around that, we need to generate a lot more
revenue. That's it. Not the revenue streams
in the next few years, which it takes time, and we didn't have the head start that these other teams did. And we don't want to cry about it. It's not about that. It's just it's just the fact, isn't it? Like we didn't have that start that they did, but hopefully we get there one day, Chad. But with Unai at the minute, we're definitely punching above our weight, and that's what every Villa fan should be.
And consistently, we're finishing in Europe.
Exactly.
And you think, like, in 3 seasons, because Conference League, Champions League, and Europa League, that shows how far we've come.
Exactly. I saw something the other day. It was like, I forgot the exact figures, so don't quote me, but it was something like this. Villa, our run in the Champions League last year, I think he generated around like 84 million or 85 million or something like that. Winning the FA Cup for Palace, I think they got like 2.5 million or something. So like, it just shows, it was something like that. The discrepancy between the FA Cup and the Champions League was just day and night, and it just sort of shows and validates your point of the Champions League is so important for us to qualify in, because the money that it generates is just essential for what we want to do and where we need to be. So
yeah, it's like Man City as well. In 3 years, since those 115 charges against them, what's been done? That it's been shoved under the carpet. I
don't know with that. There's a lot of rumblings as well with Man City. I won't speak about them too much, but that this could be Pep's last season. I feel like I've been hearing that more and more in the last couple of weeks. Whether that's got anything to do with maybe a decision about these 115 charges, I don't know. I doubt it, but I don't know. Man City, yeah, it's annoying because a decision should have been made before this season, because like, it can't be made this season now because we're already into the season. So they can't be docked points or whatever. It's like, they need to have a decision. Like, end of this season, they need to have a decision, because we can't then go into another new season not knowing what's happening, because it's just unfair on everybody.
It's not fair.
So, but I mean, that we could do a whole pod on that.
Well, Emery, they can't have Emery though.
No,
Man City can stay away from him.
And this is the thing, Chad, though, like, we've got to be realistic. Like, if a top club like a Man City or like, United the other day, or Liverpool, if they sack their manager, Emery's going to be linked, right?
If he leaves, it's going to be Real Madrid. If he does go, it'll have to be someone like Real Madrid.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. But like, he will definitely be on everybody's short. So like, don't get worried when like, oh, Emery's right.
Oh yeah.
Any club will want him on their shortlist because he's an elite manager. So that's just normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Man City.
So, well, talking to Unai Emery, so for the fans and Unai Emery, is it important to win the Europa League?
Yeah, I mean, it was important. But I think after the weekend, it's now, I don't want to say paramount, but I think it's there. We need to be, because it's our only chance, really. Look, that we're outsiders for the league, like, by a long way, but realistically, that's not going to happen. So, yeah, if we want that silverware, it has to be Europa League. So, yeah, mate, it's now that the pressure. Yeah, because if we don't do it this season, then it's, depending on where we finish this season, we could be in Europa, we could be in Champions League. Who knows? So, trophies aren't guaranteed, are they? And I think we've just given ourselves as good as a chance with the manager who's won the most Europa League. So it's like, it's a even don't have a better chance of doing it than we do right
this
now.
chance we've got. Because Emery, Emery, we've got to make the most of Emery. Like, out of any other manager, this is the closest we're ever going to come to winning a trophy.
Yeah, which, we're desperate for it, especially after seeing, Palace and Newcastle winning trophies last year. It's something that we want to be part of. So yeah, mate, I'm with you on that. I think it's important that we do win it now. So yeah, over to the Villa boys and Emery to make that happen.
And what it is as well, fans, they want memories to hold on to. And also, like, obviously the legends of 1982.
Yeah.
This team want to rewrite their own history.
Yeah. And that's it, isn't it? Like, talking about legends, Chad, we look at McGinn, we look at Mings, who have been there. I think, Konza's probably getting his way there because he's been with us for so long, like these players, if they do want that true legendary status, then a trophy seals that, doesn't it? So, for the likes of Mings and McGinn, it's important, and they all know that it's what we want, and they want it as well. So yeah.
All it is, they need to work hard for it. And also, Unai Emery, it means a lot to him. He's building a project at Aston Villa. And for him, if he does this, it will not top it off, the project, it'll top it off. It'd be a shame. So, for example, I'm not being negative, but let's say a few years, Unai Emery leaves. And I think we would regret it if we don't do it now. I think we're going to regret it.
Yeah. You're not being negative, Chad. You're being realistic. He's not going to be here forever, sadly. And the more, as the seasons go on that we don't win a trophy, yes, I think the hunger for Emery will still be there. I think the hunger's always there for Emery. He's still going to want it. But with that, the financial restrictions, there's going to come a point where he's probably going to get a bit fed up. And not with Villa and with the board, but just with the state of play. And I can't really do much here. So but then he's been to places like PSG where he's had money to spend and it's not gone well. Arsenal. So we don't know. Maybe he will be here longer. But you make a good point. He's not going to be here forever. So we need to capitalise on this moment now. Yeah.
Well, it is, Emery would be motivated. Emery, for example, going back to that game against Newcastle, he wouldn't be able to sleep. Every time it goes wrong, he wants to get better and better. He's a perfectionist. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he said it in the notes before the game against Newcastle. We're out for revenge. In the cups, we want to win. We want to go far in these competitions. We want to win these cups. So, I mean, look, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with the manner of how we lost, and it's FA Cup. Was it a priority for me personally this season? Probably not. Not really. Obviously, I want silverware, but I saw that more in the Europa League than the FA Cup. If I'm being honest, the FA Cup would have been a nice bonus if we went far in that, and there would have been a nice fallback. Actually, do you know what? We've got that to sort of try and win, but it's one less game. It means we get a bit of a break. I think in between a couple of games, we can have a bit of a break.
Can you imagine the injuries? If he was in the FA Cup, maybe we would have got another big injury, maybe.
Maybe, mate. Yeah. So it's look, and that's not trying to be pessimistic. I want it. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Villa win the FA Cup. It's a great competition, steeped in tradition. But where we're at now and where we're trying to get to, I'm not.
We ain't got the squad depth, I don't think. We don't remember that. The way Arsenal have.
Yeah.
For example, they have on the bench, they have Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
And that shows the difference in the squad. Yeah.
It's insane, mate. Their squad depth. I think if we didn't have Europa League, if we weren't in Europe, mate, then I'd be fuming because it's our only chance of silverware. We got knocked out of the Carabao Cup quick, and then but because we've got Europa League to focus on, and I think that's the one we're sort of going for. Then I'm not too bothered. I'm really not that bothered, if I'm being honest. But we just need to fix up our home form again because that's the worrying thing for me.
Well, you're showing that Europa League knockouts. These are our potential last 16 opponents we're going to get. It's between Powak, Lille, and Celta Vigo. I can't really pronounce the other name.
Yeah, I can't either.
But who would you rather have?
the team that I can't pronounce, or that we can't pronounce. Honestly, mate, anyone. I don't really want Lille because they're decent.
Penalty shootouts.
The penalty shootout, Emi Martinez. It's. I mean, look, I look at those teams and I think Villa could beat any one of those teams. But obviously, you're asking me which one I prefer, and to make it easy for us, either Pawak, however you say it, you pronounced it well, and then
You're talking.
I'm going to attempt this now. FK Crvena Zvezda.
That's not bad. That's a decent game.
We're feeling that? Okay, cool. Yeah, one of those two.
I did see actually the Arsenal today go that I'm sure years ago that we played them in the UEFA Cup.
With
O'Neill. Or even before, I can't remember that.
Before that, okay.
Was it John Gregory or something like that? Yeah, he did.
Oh, interesting.
I'll find out in the comments.
Yeah.
If any Villa fans, make sure to let me know, Villa fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, mate, I fancy our chances against, I think at this point now, we should be beating anybody. And that's not an arrogance. It's just look at our squad and those teams that you showed me there. We over 2 legs as well. We should beat them. So I honestly, I'm not pressed who we get. I probably would want to avoid Lille out of all of them.
Yes.
But I fancy us against. When's the draw for this?
I'm trying to see. I have to keep checking. There's no announcement. Yeah, I have to keep checking.
Because
I didn't see though. Do we get a home first? No, sorry, no. We get a home second leg, don't we?
Home second now, yeah. I think all the way through.
That's it. Second leg, that's it, yeah.
That's why it was important that we finished second. So I imagine that the knockout, the other games are going to get played. Is it this week actually? Was it next week? The games are played.
I think the playoffs are this week. I think.
Okay, so I think once that's concluded, then I imagine then we'll know what's happening.
Well, good to my last question. So, talking about Daniel Malen. So, do you think we are missing a Daniel Malen type player?
Well, I wasn't sure on this, and then I went and I looked at his stats at Roma. Mate, 5 starts, 5 goals. So
5 goals. That's it. Well, I last checked. Did he score more than when I last checked? Or that's well.
He scored 2 last night against Napoli.
Oh well.
Napoli are a good team as well. Yeah, he scored a penalty and he scored just a regular goal. But answer your question, Chad. Yes, we do, and I know a lot of us were a bit confused and a bit sad, but a bit annoyed that Malen left because we know what a threat he can be. In front of goal, he's a good goal scorer. He's got a good finish on him, and he was definitely a handful for the opposition. So I think we do miss him. I think he was a very good option for us off the bench. But again, for him, he wants to start and play games, and he's justifying that at Roma now because he's starting.
On Saturday, against the game against Newcastle, he's crying out for Daniel Malen to change the tempo of the game or the dynamics of it.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying before, weren't we, about Watkins and not being as sharp and looking like he's maybe lost a yard of pace. Well, Malen has pace in abundance, doesn't he? That guy can run for days. And Tammy Abraham, running's never been his strength anyway. That's never been his strength. So, very different. Watkins and Abraham and Malen are all different players. But
yes,
I agree, man. I think, I don't know, it's only a loan though, isn't it? Or have they got an obligation to buy him?
I think it's on loan. I don't know how it works, but I know it's on loan. I don't know about the obligation to buy a bit.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to see him back. Especially if Watkins does go in the summer, then you've got Malen and Abraham. That's not bad, is it? It's not. It's decent strikers, but yeah, he's doing very well, mate, and I think we do miss him.
Well, it really baffles me. I think. Given the squad depth, all the injuries we've got. I mean, from Daniel Malen's point of view, he wants to be playing like regularly, but I'm just surprised, like, he didn't go out, especially on loan.
Yeah, I think it was more the fact that he wanted to play more, and he also wanted to play up front, like as the main striker. And I don't think Unai saw Marlon as the striker. And when he did play for us as a striker, he didn't really do much. But off as sort of like just behind the striker as that sort of role, he was great. But then he's proving Unai wrong a bit because he's playing up front for Roma and he's scored 5 in 5. So I don't know. Systems are a thing as well, aren't they? They make a difference.
Of course, we got different systems. But Aaron, thank you for the chat. I do feel a lot better after the therapy session.
They're back, mate. They're back. Villa lose. We're back to therapy sessions. But, mate, it's good. Positive. We've got a lot to play for still, so that's good.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. I was going to say before we go as well, I was going to say about Aston Villa. We met a few lovely people at Villa Park. I even though support the results. It really made my day. I met Alfie Amrock. So if you're watching, Matt, hello, mate.
What's up, Matt?
Also, great to see Gary waiting for their podcast. We are discussing about a charity event at the end of the season. So once I know more, we get more details over the next few months. It's a pleasure to meet Gary for the first time. So yes, sir, that's all I got time for. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to smash the like button on this video. Give it a shout on all socials. And if you're listening via audio, make sure to leave us a good review. That always helps. And also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for your time, Aaron.
Thank you, mate. It's always a pleasure, and you always make me feel a lot more positive and upbeat about the Villa. So bring on this week and bring on Saturday, mate. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to wrap up this episode. In Villa forever, as always, and up the Villa.